Yeah, if I felt a certain way about the way that we played on Tuesday, I feel the opposite tonight. I thought we were really good. I thought our just energy defensively, our focus defensively, how active our hands were defensively. I thought it was good. I thought we played with a lot of purpose. We were able to do some things offensively too that we've been working on and talking about in practice. So I am pleased with that effort. Listen, we haven't arrived across any finish line, so I'm not going to celebrate, but I want to give our guys credit. I thought they played pretty well, and Presbyterian's a really good basketball club. I was blown away on tape with the job that Quentin's done and his staff has done. There's an assistant on that roster who's with me for the last 5 or 6 years at Greensboro named Tom Tankowitz, who's like family to me. So I paid attention really closely to what they're doing. And man, that's a really, really tough job. I've been there, played a couple games there over the years. It's a really small gym. It's a tough place to recruit to. And they put together a really competitive roster. They play well together. They guard. They run good stuff. So I think they're going to have a terrific year. So I feel good about the way that we played against what I think is a pretty good basketball team tonight. I want to welcome Abdul Otto to Cincinnati. I'm glad he showed up, and hope he stays a while. But I thought his, presence defensively was there all night, and we got a chance to see him make some plays around the rim in the second half. But he needed some good things to happen. He's been battling some injuries and learning the new system after getting accustomed to a system at Mississippi State over the last 4 years. So it's been a little bit of a process, but I thought tonight we saw some of the things that we believe he's going to be able to do and impact the game and have a good year for us. After that, I looked down at the stat sheet. Vic was just cramping, if anybody's worried. I mean, that's part of the deal. He's been in and out of practice, so he's got to continue to get in better shape. But I looked down at the stat sheet, and, different guys are scoring it, and it seems like we're sharing the ball pretty well. You look down and you have 21 assists. You got to be proud of that. And we're going to be a team that different guys can score it night in and night out, different 4-minute segments in the game. And I think we have to embrace that as a team and embrace our depth. And if we do that, I think we could have a pretty good offensive team. And that's pretty fun as a coach to have a team that will embrace, no matter whether they're shooting the ball or they're making the plays, they'll embrace just playing their tails off with their teammates. That's something I think we can build on. Finally, it's been a nice 4-game homestand to get the year started. We got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things we have to get better at. We're going to learn a lot about ourselves here over the next 4 or 5 days as we go to Kansas City to play a pretty big-time event against big-time teams.
I know you guys were pretty worried with Rayshon Harrison tonight. He got 16, but you made him really work for it. You had to be happy with what you guys were able to do on a guy that can score like that.
He's a big-time guard. He was giving Clemson all they wanted last week. We're watching the film, and he looks like he belongs on any court in America. And, Quentin's really giving him the freedom to go play. And you look down at his line, 6 for 15, 0 for 5. I thought we bailed him out a couple times fouling him while he was shooting the ball. But outside of that, I thought we made him really work for everything. He's a good player, so he's going to make some. But I thought we did a really good job on him tonight.
You talked about Dual kind of rounding into form. You wouldn't think that would necessarily come second game in 3 days. Did he just need a couple games to get going?
Well, I just think it's just been a little process. Again, he's had some injuries, nothing to keep him from playing, but just the kind of stuff that's frustrating. And then he's trying to learn a new system. And I think Abdul's a creature of habit and had mastered playing in the system he played in for Ben Howland at Mississippi State. So I think the combination of that, and then maybe just hadn't kind of went his way here the first couple games. I think it was just building up, and it was good to see him kind of come out and make some plays tonight.
Is that the first time he played without the wrap on his thumb?
See, you pay attention to things, Chad, that I don't even pay attention to. I don't even know about the wrap. I pay attention to whether he's in a stance or rebound, that type of thing. But I thought it was the best effort he's played with thus far this year.
13 players played, 13 players scored. Your depth is a strength of yours, obviously. How did that show tonight?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I talked about in the locker room with the guys. I think it's really important because it's what's going to make us different as a team. It's what's going to give us a chance to be a successful team. Is we really do have like 12 rotation type players on our team right now. Obviously AJ's out with the ankle, so it's 11. And that can be this great strength. It's been a strength to date, Keith, but guys have to embrace that. And not everybody, especially in 2021 in college basketball, guys aren't always willing to embrace that. And to have a locker room full of guys that are really willing to embrace sitting a little bit to let somebody else come in the game, or playing so hard they get tired because they know somebody else can come in behind them, or knowing it might not be my night, that's pretty rare. And I hope we can build upon that, because if we can sustain that type of mentality all year, our depth, the ability to kind of spread our offense around, can be a real strength of our team.
You mentioned the depth. Odie finished with 8 points tonight. Talk about what it was like seeing him get going early as he had back-to-back possessions getting to the foul line.
He's been fantastic. I mean, I think anybody that's watching feels that. You feel his energy. His body's alive. He finishes above the rim. He's making plays at the rim defensively. You know, he runs every time. He does his job. His skill level's really improving because he works at his game so hard. You know, so I thought he was terrific tonight. But honestly, guys, I think he's been terrific the first 4 games. I'm really pleased with Odie, and I think he's just scratching the surface of who he can become as a player.
Yeah, another big run in the first half. Is that, we talked about how defense can kind of spark that, but is that something you expected out of this team, to be able to sustain those 20-3 type runs?
Yeah, I think if you really defend, you're going to, create live ball stops, whether they're turnovers or defensive rebounds. And we work on our running game every day. And I think our running game looks like it's getting better in terms of just doing our job every possession, and then just making simple plays with the ball. I think one of the things we talk about a lot with our team is the key to our transition offense is actually doing it, actually running. It sounds cliche, but it's tough to get teams to run every possession. And then the second key is just making simple, fundamental plays. Just the easy play in transition is usually the most successful play. So I thought tonight we ran pretty consistently, and I thought we made simple plays for the most part. We had a couple silly errors, but I think it's getting better in practice, and I think we're getting better game to game.
You talked about it earlier, but how big is this trip to Kansas City? I think you'll finally get to see how good or bad this team is here early on.
They're all big, and practice on Saturday is big. I think it's always going to be about one day at a time. Like, every day's big, and you got to try to grow. But we'll learn a lot about ourselves, Keith, when we play against some of the best programs in the country, best teams in the country this year on a neutral floor. So I think we're all excited for that challenge and that opportunity, but we'll learn a lot. It's not big in that it's all or nothing. I mean, if we have success, that can give us a lot of confidence. If we have some failure, we can learn and grow from it, and that's going to be the way we approach it every day. So it's big because I think it's a big opportunity for us to get better.
Got time for one more question if you have anything.
Any update on AJ?
It's just an ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain, and the medical staff says a couple weeks, AJ says a couple days, and usually it's somewhere in between. But he wants to be back as bad as anybody, so hopefully we'll have him back soon.
What did you think of his outfit tonight?
We like suits here at Cincinnati, so he looked good. I was impressed, and he might have looked good, better than any of the coaches. I don't know if I got the bow tie thing in me, but I thought he looked pretty good. I like him better in a jersey, though.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.